been in 21 years, 9 months. I went in on February 29th, 1968, and I retired in October of '89. I haven't been overseas very much. I've been to Thailand twice. I married a Thai, had 3 children, got divorced, and I married again. And she had 2 children, and we moved to Montana, which is beautiful. I did spend a little TDY, which is temporary duty, in London, in England, for about 60 days. Being over in England, when I went TDY to England, it was different too, because anytime the English people get a chance, they make fun of you. But it was an experience being in a different country. And a lot of Americans don't realize how good they have it if they go to another country. I also spent 2 tours in Thailand during the Vietnam War. And I worked on electronic equipment that jammed radar so the airplanes wouldn't get shot down. I didn't want to get drafted. So I joined the Air Force, and I decided to make it a career because I didn't have anything else going, and I got electronic technician education through the Air Force. So I was an electronic technician until you make a certain rank, and then you don't touch the equipment, you're a manager. When I first re-enlisted in the Air Force, I put in for some place up in the Northeast, and I got New Mexico. Well, the best part of being in the military is knowing that I am part of the United States defending all these people so they can have a nice life. I have been in cargo airplanes. When I went to Thailand, when I went to England, we were on 141, which is strange, is because they have the seats backwards. So when you take off, you're facing the tail. And they have no insulation, so you have to wear earplugs. Or you go deaf. I did re-enlist in a B-57 fly circling the mountain. And my commander says, well, I see, if we don't crash, I'll re-enlist you. I says, oh, thank you, sir. I only shot a gun once. They only have you shoot it once a year when you're in the Air Force. It's not like the Army. All the branches had nicknames, like the Army were called grunts. The Air Force was called flyboys, and the Marines were called jarheads, and the Navy were called swabbies, because they swabbed the deck.
My name is Robert Erickson. I joined the Marine Corps in 1964, actually 65 through 69. My oldest brother was my recruiter. There was 3 of us that were all in the Marine Corps at the same time. I had to go down to Morristown, New Jersey, to where my brother was my recruiter down there. When I went to boot camp, he went to officers training at Quantico. I went into the Marine Air Wing, went to El Toro, California, where our squadron shipped over to Japan. When I got to Japan, I decided that I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to go into Vietnam. So I transferred to a fighter squadron. It was VFMA 115. Shortly after I got transferred into that, I got called up to the commanding officer's office, and my brother was reporting in to the same squadron. So we ended up going into Vietnam together. I had to sign a waiver because of the fact that we still had my other brother back home He did 20 years. My oldest brother did 14 years, and I did 4 years. The two of us went into July together, spent 9 months down there. I ended up going home for a leave, came back and did another 9 months at Da Nang. The only action we did to see was pretty much the Tet offense. We ended up going out onto the perimeter because of the fact that we didn't know whether we were going to get action from the Tet offense overrunning us. Luckily, we didn't have to fire any rifles or anything. We did get some rockets going over our heads to the flight line, but that was pretty much the only action that we did see. We did have the bomb dump was hit when we were in, basically they hit the two bomb dumps, one at July when I was in Da Nang, the Da Nang bomb dump when I was in July, but they did hit the flare dump when I was in Da Nang, and it definitely lit up the night while we were there. So it was pretty much quite a bit of action there. That's pretty much all the action that I saw there while I was there. I know a lot of the other guys that were there that were out further out into the jungles have a lot more knowledge of what was going on. Pride that serving the country. I mean, I know that when I got back, it was pretty much I felt like we hid when we came back. We weren't really welcomed back. That was the one sad part of it, that really felt like we did wrong. We were not at all welcome back. Now it seems that I know the happy part that I remember one instance when I was in BJ's and this little girl came up to me and said thank you, and it was really a very emotional when she came to me, and there. I mean, other than that, I mean, now it's really a nice sight to feel welcomed.
Anyway, 7 years, so I was out in 56. Yeah, 56. Right. So that's the story, me. And it was during the Korean War. And we were activated for the activation. We went to, we never went to Korea. We were we were kept in the United States for a reason, for mainly to keep the troops in activation. We spent some time at Camp Drum, which was Fort Drum, you know. And then we spent some time at Fort Benning. Otherwise, you know, we were not activated, and we were kept as the service for the United States. I was in the infantry. The best part about it was activation, which was the duty that we were expected to do. We fired the 155s. They fired them overhead, and we did our thing, which was activation. Very seldom did we do anything other than that. We didn't, you know, as I remember, we didn't do anything activation, you know. But we were part of the whole thing, and the whole military action. We were well before the Vietnam War, and well before the activation for the Korean War. We were part of the Korean War effort, but it was not it was not to be. We were not activated. I can remember marching down Park Avenue in New York. We lived in New York, and that was wonderful. We loved it. We loved New York. I can remember we got married in 1951, and we were activated in 1955. Well, it was wonderful to serve in the United States Army, and therefore we saluted the flag and we did everything that we had to do.